welcome to the Amazing You podcast. I am your host, Elizabeth Maldonado, and we have a special guest today. It's Mari Gomez, and she's going to talk to us about the Mari Strong Foundation. It's a nonprofit for cancer survivors and people who are dealing with breast cancer. And it's something that's very near and dear to her heart. So we're going to talk about that today, and I just want to introduce her to you. Mari, will you tell us a little bit about how you got started with the foundation and give us some information about some of the things coming up?
Yes, of course. Hi, Elizabeth. I'm so excited to be here on your show. I think you're doing amazing work that you're doing. So our foundation is called the Mighty Strong Foundation, which is, of course, named after me. And the reason we came about is when I was diagnosed with breast cancer 4 years ago, we didn't have a lot of options for assistance. Where people can come in and help you financially with just any everyday expenses. So since there wasn't something out there, we decided to fill in that need. We were fortunate enough where we had a lot of family and friends that helped and contribute to my recovery. But there's a lot of people that are not as fortunate as we were. So we wanted to fill in that gap, that's need for other people, because if we were going through the need of assistance, I'm sure there's so many other people out there that are going to be needing the same assistance that we offer.
Absolutely. And I think it's so selfless of you to do that. I know that it's not easy for some people to ask for help, and sometimes they don't know where to go. So it's really important to do the outreach and have people know more about the foundation and how it got started. And I think it's neat that, it was something that you had gone through personally. So you have such a deeper, it brings such deep meaning to you to be able to do that for others. So I know you had told us a little bit about what you went through, Mari. You said you had gone through several surgeries, right, through the process of all of this?
Yes, in the first 2 years, I went through about 7 surgeries. 5 of them were reconstructive surgery. So the first 2 were, I had a double mastectomy, and then when I went in for my follow-up, my 2-week follow-up, my doctor said we removed all the cancer in your body, but then there was also some on my skin.
Oh,
so
okay.
Then 2 weeks later, I had to go, back in. So I went for my follow-up, and then like a week later, I went for second surgery. And
Oh my
so
God.
those were the ones that removed all my cancer. And then after that, it seemed like every 3 months, every 4 months, 6 months, I was having another surgery due to
Wow.
reconstructive surgery.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I did that for about 2 years.
Wow, that's got to be grueling, because you feel like you're just recovering and then you have another one, right?
Yes.
That's got to be really hard. And I know we talked about this a little bit, but I know you said, when things like this happen and people are looking for assistance, and it wasn't the kind like where you wanted like Social Security or something like that. It was more of, like you said, like being able to go clean the house and things that you normally could do, but were hindered from doing because you were still dealing with the healing process. And so those are the kind of things that you said you were able to do now for some of these people who are in need, which I think is great. So how do you raise funds, Mari? What are some of the things that y'all do for fundraising?
Well, we do have our women's conference scheduled for October, of course, breast cancer awareness, which is called Finding Your Inner Beauty Women's Conference. And the reason why we decided to start this was because when I was going through my surgery, through my process, my healing, there was times where I would look at myself like, there's no way like people can see the beauty in me. When you've gone through a double mastectomy and you've lost, as a woman, that's what kind of defines you.
Right? Exactly. Yeah,
And so, there was a lot of soul searching, a lot of inner healing that I had to go through to move forward to like the next surgery, and then just to really look forward for life. And so we started this women's conference, and we get our speakers, we get our vendors, and this is how we raise money. To all the proceeds that we get from the women's conference goes strictly giving back to local women here in San Antonio. We don't take it out anywhere else other than here in San Antonio.
That's awesome. So it stays here in the community. That's great. Yeah.
Yes, it does.
That's awesome. And I just think so many times we as women are so worried about our look, right? Like we're always trying to lose weight, we're always trying to eat better, exercise, all those things that we do to just work on our outside, right? Our image, but we don't look at the inner part, which I think is great to have it called the finding your inner beauty, because truly we are like a spirit in a human body, right? And so really we're the body is just holding our spirit, but when we leave this earth, that spirit goes back to where it came from, and we're going to be able to go back and say, hey, these are some of the things that I did, and either God is going to bless you and say, you did great work, or you did what you were supposed to, or you're not, right? But I think that when we take time to give back, even if it's just a little bit or just for one person, it makes such a difference. And sometimes people think, oh, well, if you're just one person, how can you make such a difference? But it really, if you make that one difference for that one person, that person can inspire others, and it just, paying it forward, it just continues on and on. And I think sometimes people lose faith in all of that, and so they don't try to give back. But I think it's so important to do that, to be able to pay it forward and to plant those seeds, in the community and in other people. And I'm sure that the speakers are going to do that too, is to inspire others, motivate them to do things like this, and to understand that there's more to you than just your look,
Yes.
your character, your value system, all those things matter. And sometimes it takes one person to expose somebody else to those value systems and principles and ordinances, and they take that in and adopt it as their own. So I think that the fact that we have so many good speakers, that it's going to inspire so many others and really plant those seeds like we were talking about. So I think it's
Yes.
a great opportunity for people to go out and be exposed to those things. So it's a great opportunity. And then we have the fishing tournament as well, right? Coming up this coming
Yes.
weekend.
So we have there's a Amber Cordova. So
Mhm.
she set up a fishing tournament, which is it's her second year.
Oh, okay.
And so last year she did an amazing job, and all the proceeds from that fishing tournament goes directly to the Mighty Strong Foundation. And
Okay.
so we post with her, we try to, spread the word, get that out there, and just make sure that everyone's aware. It's all local. Like I said, we try to keep everything here local,
Mhm.
because we really believe in giving back to our community.
Yeah.
We were fortunate enough, or like I said, we had a lot of family, friends that helped us.
Mhm.
But not everybody is that fortunate. And also, not everybody is really open to
Mhm.
asking for that help, because like,
Exactly. No. And then
you
sometimes they just
able to handle
embarrassed.
everything. Or
Mhm.
as
Mhm.
Hispanics, we're very prideful, and
Very,
we
very.
don't
Oh my
want to
God,
ask
yes.
for the help. But
Right.
we posted out there. So we also raise money. We partnered up, like I said, with Amber and her
Mhm.
fishing tournament with her fishing team. And I mean, it's just, it was amazing. We were very moved that she chose us last year, and we were super excited that she chose us again this year.
That's
So
great.
that is scheduled for this Saturday at
Mhm.
Calaveras Lake. And then, like I said, everything's gonna come back. She also has raffles going on, gift baskets. I mean, I've seen like all the cool stuff that's out there, and
Oh,
I'm like, I
wow.
think I'm gonna buy all the tickets, and I'm gonna try to
Right.
win all the.
I was thinking that with a cornhole game. I was like, wow, still, I was trying to do the math there. No, 'cause they really are fabulous items. And she put a lot of work into that cornhole game. I could see the detail in that. It took time. You could tell it took time.
Yes,
And I like the fact that you have different divisions, like the youth division, then you have your adult division, so that everybody can partake and make it more of a family type of event. Because when we do these things and partake in this, we want the kids to understand what you're doing and why, and then that instills the same idea of giving back, to them as well. So we're modeling for them as well. So I think that's a great opportunity for that. So make it a family affair. And she
yes,
was
and it
talking about
gets them
having food.
involved. Yeah, it gets them involved, and it help, like you said, it shows them how to give back, and not
Mhm, mhm,
always just, as kids we always like, I want this, I want this, and I want this. And then when you go out there and you do that family event, and you do it together as a family, and you show them that this is what we're doing for, for
mhm.
people that need this,
Right,
and they'll
exactly.
see that, and they'll grow into being that giving person.
Mhm. And that's one of the things I really liked about the Dave Ramsey thing, because even with the little kids, he teaches them how to save, how to spend, and how to give. And he has the different envelopes for each one so that the kids really understand that there's a piece to every little, you have to do all three to actually feel fulfilled. And I think that that's really important, and to have a good balance in all of it, because I know you can get carried away, right? That trying to, balance it all. But when we give, we really do get it back. You get
Yes.
back the blessings that you get. Um, I think, y'all are so involved with so many things with the sticker shock, and then, all the other events that y'all have. And I don't know how y'all keep up with everything, girl. There's a lot. There's so much to it. I'm like, oh my gosh, they're like, superhuman and have all this strength and energy. But I think it's awesome that you're able to do that, because, you build community and so many people get to know you personally. And, it's just like we were talking about before with business, people buy you before they buy your product or your service, right? But when they get to know you personally and they see just how passionate you are about making a difference in the community, they're really more willing to come forward and partake in the activities and events that are happening. And I know you and Daniel do a really great job of expressing yourself and what your value system is and how you approach it and how you practice those things, which is a really good thing for everybody to come and see. So, Marty, tell me more about what kind of, what are you planning to do, like for the future with the foundation itself? Like, do you plan on expanding it, or what kind of ideas do you have for the future?
Well, I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. People
Uh-huh.
that go to our events, they see the finished product, but there's so much stuff behind the scenes that, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people don't see. It's a lot of work, and it's, like these last 2 weeks, we're probably
Uh-huh.
going to be running around like our chicken without our head. But when we're
Uh-huh.
done at the end of that day of the event, we're going to be, for me, it's so rewarding
Mm-hmm.
because you came to our event last year, and it was just so moving. And it's not just the healing of someone that has cancer. It's the healing of anyone that needs to be healed, and then
Mm-hmm.
just really trying to go into their soul for their inner beauty, whether you've gone through domestic violence, abuse, or depression, or anything
Mm-hmm.
else that might still steal that inner part of you, that beauty that you have from within yourself. So
Mm-hmm.
where are we going to in 5 years? Oh, I, my goal is just to help as many people as we can. And,
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking, of ideas of things that we can do differently for
Mm-hmm.
next year. So I'm not going to spoil it, but, we want to do a little bit different.
Uh-huh.
Just kind of, make it just like an all women's thing, and, and,
Mm-hmm.
and really have like that personal connection, personal touch. Because when you come to our event, um, you get connected with other people because
Mm-hmm.
you're going to resonate with their story.
Mm-hmm.
And you may not even think that it's going to hit you or you're going to resonate with them until you really listen to their story. And then you're
Mm-hmm.
really sitting there, and then you're just like kind of taking it all in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then you feel like,
Sense of
okay,
enlightenment. It really is. So many of us, when we're having difficulty, think, oh, it's just me, or why am I, like you feel like you're the only one. And then when
right.
you get to hear other people, I think that's what resonated with me when I went to the evolution weekend that y'all had. It was a
Yes.
3-day event, but it was such a neat group because we were so open about so many things that we were going through in our own personal lives. And each time one person shared, the other people got something from that, that we were
Hmm.
able to take that information and apply it to our own lives, which I thought was awesome. So I know this is going to be an event where we're going to get a lot out of it, because we got a lot of great speakers, and that opportunity to bond is big. I think a lot of times we don't have that opportunity. We're so caught up in, work and taking care of the kids and, going here and going there, and you're going 90 miles an hour. You feel like you don't have that opportunity to really bond. And this is a time to take time out and give yourself that time to be fed, because you can't pour from a cup that's empty, right? So
Right.
I think it's a great opportunity to be able to, be have your soul fed, and then take that information and apply it.
Yeah, we are going to have an amazing group of speakers. You're going to be one of our speakers, so I'm excited to see and hear you, on that
Thank
stage
you.
again. And then we also have, other speakers, that are local. And then we do have some out of towners, and
Mhm,
I'm really excited to see, our end result of our hard work.
mhm,
And just I think what I'm really, really looking forward to is just how many people are we going to be able to help, um,
mhm.
not just through the conference but through our foundation. We were able to bless someone, a couple weeks ago, to this lady that I got connected with through Amber,
Oh,
and
good.
it was amazing because I put it out there. Anyone that needs help, whatever you may need, I'm not going to ask you, anything.
Mhm,
You need
mhm.
help, you reach out to me, and I will give that to you.
That's awesome.
Whatever it may
That's
be,
awesome.
whether it's to help you with the groceries or to help you with someone coming to clean your house, it's yours. It's yours. And funny story is, I talked to this lady, and she just happened to have my same doctor.
Oh, wow.
Um, and then she's going through her journey, and she's also going to go through reconstructive surgery, which happens to be the same location where I got mine.
Oh,
So,
wow.
if that wasn't God speaking to her to reach out to me,
Mhm,
I don't know
mhm,
what that was, because I mean, everything just aligned perfectly, and her journey is very similar to mine. So
mhm,
we kind of connected. And I think that's another thing that you're going to take away from this conference is you're going to get that sense of connection with other women,
mhm.
because someone that hasn't gone through cancer cannot tell you it's going to be okay,
Right,
because they
right.
haven't been through it. And even
Yeah.
if they have been through it, it's so hard for you to say, yes, it's going to be okay. But,
Mhm,
the
mhm,
most important thing for me as a breast cancer survivor going through your journey is just kind of listen to me. Like,
mhm,
I don't need
mhm.
you to tell me it's going to be okay. I don't need you to try to find a solution for me. I just need you
Mhm.
to listen. Like, let me
Yes.
vent. Let me tell you what I'm feeling. Let me be mad.
Mhm,
Let me,
mhm, mhm.
but just listen.
That's one of the biggest things I think that that we fail to see as a society. It's like it's almost like I had people. I remember when I was having a really hard time. It was my last couple of years in the public school system, and I was just having a really really hard time because I knew it wasn't for me anymore. I needed something different, but I was really struggling, and people were like, and I cried, and I had one of the ladies. She was a secretary, and she's like, my dad taught me never to cry. That shows weakness. And I thought, that's humanity. You're being human. You have emotions and you're entitled to those. And when we talk about the stages of grieving, it's denial, then anger, then negotiation, then resignation, then acceptance. And sometimes we go through them real fast, and sometimes you get stuck in one of them.
Mhm.
So but you have to allow people to go through those things. If you don't allow them to take part in each of those steps, then you're denying them the process. You're denying them the ability to really express themselves and to get past it and work through it. But I think you're right. Sometimes we don't want solutions, and we don't want somebody to give me a plan. I just want you to listen, just sit with me,
Yes.
just be present in the moment, just to show that you care and be there is enough. I was talking to one of the other authors, R.L. Schalfer, and he's saying that his little boy, when he, the first year they went through, I don't know how many surgeries, and they were open heart surgeries for a little kid. That's this dramatic for the
Mhm.
parents, right? But he said, I sat there and I had people who really cared that came to see me at least once a week. And sometimes they just came and stared at the wall with me. He said, but the fact they were there made me feel like, hey, there is community, there are people who care, and I need that. And that, fed me, as far as and I thought, he was real big on the spiritual side. He said, God promised us that he never leaves us. And it's in those trying times that you have to really depend on those promises and believe that they are going to, that he's going to follow through with them. So I know that's a difficult thing to go through, especially, with a health condition like that. But I think you're right. It's just being there, being present in the moment,
Yes.
and allowing people to communicate and express themselves. No, I mean, like you said, if I want to be angry, let me be angry, just be there and listen to me. So I think so many times guys tend to be like the problem solver. They want to, find a quick solution, automated solution,
Yeah.
and it's not that way. It's a longer
Sometimes it's
process.
not. Sometimes you just need to like, kind of just let it all soak in. Let it kind of like all marinate and try to figure out, okay, what's the plan? I'm a planner. So, when I was diagnosed and the doctor told me, and I'm like, okay, I got it together. And I'm like,
Hmm.
what's the plan of action? What do we got to do next?
Hmm.
Because
Hmm.
if you sit around, yes, like I said, go through all those stages that you go through, but if you sit around and you stay in there,
Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah.
it's going to be worse for you.
Hmm. Hmm.
So just what's the plan, what's next? Let's move on forward. And my mom always says primeramente Dios, right?
Yes, I've heard that so many times, and it's so true. Yeah, no, yeah, apenas así, because you really, that he's the one who controls, and he's the one. And it was so hard for me. I know, like, my mom went through stuff with her kidney failure, and her toxin levels were like beyond where they needed to be, and she had to have like a emergency catheter put in to start her dialysis. But I mean, we almost lost her, and I thought, oh my gosh, and you don't know what to think or where to go, and you have to just leave it in his hands and truly
Yes.
believe that he's going to be there for you. But I told her the same thing. I said, don't sit there and wallow in misery. You have to
Right.
continue to try to do what you can on your behalf, because she didn't want to do the dialysis. She kept saying, no, 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 yeah, déjame ir, ya estoy lista. And I'm like, mother, no,
Hmm.
you're not. You're not.
Yes.
And then she finally was like, okay, I'm ready for the dialysis. I was like, thank God. But you go through that anger stage and you don't want to. But I am a little bit loca sometimes, but I love my mother very much. And we think about that, whatever that it is that you're going through, it affects your husband, it affects your daughters, your sons, it's a, just kind of like a ripple effect, right? So we have to be really careful of our choices and our behaviors, and they have to be in line with what we really believe. And so I just think it's a great thing to have a support system in place. And so many times people
Yes.
do have a hard time asking for help. So when you see there's a need, just being there and
Right.
just putting yourself in that place. Don't wait for people to come ask for help. Just get in there and get in the trenches with them and do it. So I look forward to the event. I know there's going to be a lot of speakers and things like that. And it's a great way to network too, for women to network and find, and really just take in, like you said, the spirit of the event itself, and have that, help you to move forward.
Yeah, and you're really going to get that sense of community and any possible way that you're looking for, or maybe that you're not even looking for, you're going to get it. You're going to get
Mhm,
it. There's so
mhm.
many people that came last year, and they really didn't know what to expect, and they left home a totally
Uh-huh.
different person with a totally different perspective of not just the event itself, but life itself, and
Yeah.
their life within them, and the person that they are within themselves. So I'm really excited. It's just a lot of things happening. Like you
Mhm.
said, we had a lot of events, but then throw in the mix, our daughter's getting married, so that's a
Oh,
lot of
well,
fun.
that's exciting though. That's really
Yes.
exciting.
Yeah, and then
That's
I think
that's
those
very
are the,
emotional.
when you have things to look forward to,
Mhm.
you fight a little harder.
Yeah, that's true. No, it's true. And I think when you go through something that's traumatic or devastating, you appreciate life so much more, because you really see the value in everything that takes place,
Yes.
the camaraderie, the idea that you can, pick up the phone and call somebody, and but sometimes it takes things like this to really get us to appreciate things that we take for granted sometimes, so no, you're right. I think this is something where we can really kind of look at it in a bigger perspective.
Yes.
And I was thinking about like some creative ways to raise money, and I found one that was really cool. It was called Cow Pie Bingo, and they actually make a grid, and then wherever the cow goes and just does its thing, and whatever square that lands in, that's almost like bingo, right? That's the one that wins the money. But it's kind of cool, the more squares you have, of course, the more you raise and stuff. But it's fun to sit around and watch, and wait for him to, take his dump.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're excited. We're open to new ideas. There's a lot of, like I said, we do have a lot of things behind the scenes that we're
Mhm.
you know we're throwing ideas out there, just do something different.
Yeah.
and just, kind of make it fun because,
Right, right.
you
No,
can
it's
be
true.
anywhere on a Saturday afternoon, Saturday morning, but you choose to come with us.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
and, and we're gonna make it worth your time for you to come out and just, as moms, you're like you said, we're always busy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, for
And
sure.
you know, all over the place, especially when they're in school. And then
Oh,
this is
yeah.
just kind of like your time to just be you and just kind of that little
Mhm.
self-care
Right,
of
and
just
we need
kind of,
that. Yeah.
reignite and just refresh your mind of first of
Mhm,
all who you are, because before I'm Alicia's mom, Julian's mom, Daniel's wife, I'm Mari.
mhm. Right,
And
exactly. Yeah.
a lot of us forget that sometimes. A
Yeah,
lot of
you
us
lose
forget that
yourself.
because it's
Yeah.
crazy when I am after my daughter graduated from high school and I had gone to Walmart, and then this little girl comes in, she's like, "Hi, Alicia's mom," and I'm like, "Yeah, that's my name," you know, which is
So
it's
true, yeah.
it's
That's
true.
how they
It's true because you're that person for so many years, and not that I'm going to stop being their parent or stop
right.
being Daniel's wife, but before all that, I was me.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's
and
true.
and in order for us to continue to give back to our family and our friends, we need to take care of us. And
Absolutely.
this
No,
is
it's true.
a great way, to come out and, first of all, to take care of yourself, and secondly, for a great cause to help other women that
Mhm.
have been impacted through breast cancer, who are going through their journey, who, needs that extra 50, $60 to pay for the copay of the medication that they need.
And it
um,
gets expensive, all
and
that is
it
so
does.
expensive,
It does
even
get
with
expensive
insurance. I
with
had
or
a
without insurance. It
yeah,
gets
that's what I was
expensive with or
thinking.
without insurance.
Mhm,
And another thing, if you need those groceries to be delivered, and yes, there is an additional fee. We'll
mhm.
pay
Yeah,
your
you're right.
groceries, include that fee, include
Mhm,
the fee to
mhm.
get it delivered, because yeah, you can go and get it, pick it up, but who's going to bring it to your house?
Right. No, and if you're not feeling well, that's kind of like when the COVID first happened and there was nothing in the stores and people were having standing long lines. And I thought, well, how are the elderly doing it? Because if I get tired standing there for hours, can you imagine, that? And
Yes.
so there was a need for that. There was a need for the elderly to have somebody to come and advocate for them and help them out. And people started to do those things and barter and all of that kind of stuff. But, it's things that you don't even think about it. You just take for granted, and then later on you're like, oh my gosh, I'm just glad to see meat on the shelf, and everything and
Yes.
things of that sort. And I think we get bogged down sometimes with all the craziness about, life that we miss what's really important. But yeah, you're right. And then the multiple roles you play can weigh on you. I mean, it really can. And you lose the sense of, well, what about
Of who
me? Or
you
am I?
are.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. No, and it's important to take time out. I know that's one of the things I kind of miss too. My sister took a new job, and so she's really busy now. But we got real close after she had her first baby, and I was crazy about the girls, and then, getting them all dressed up and putting the little ruffles and, the ribbons in their hair. And I just enjoyed all of that. Right. And now that they're older, it's like, I have a game or I have to go do this. They don't have time. Right. But, and she's busy too. So I'm like, I kind of miss that sense of, hey, she pick up the phone, let's go, the flea market or let's go,
Yes.
and it wasn't so much of we were going to go buy things, just being together and getting out, a different
Hmm.
change of environment. So I think the fishing thing is kind of cool too, because I mean, how many people really take time out to do that? So
Yeah, I've
it'll be a
never
great
fished
opportunity.
before, but I mean, we did a
Hmm.
couple years ago. Like I think when the kids were little, we tried to do it one time. But
Hmm.
just to go out there. They're going to be having the plate sales. They're going to be having the raffles, and again, all those proceeds come back to the Mighty Strong Foundation,
Hmm.
to help other women. And I'm hoping
Awesome.
that more people will be open to reaching out to us for assistance
Yeah.
for
Yeah. I
whatever they
really
may
hope.
need,
Hmm.
because
That's
this is why we do this. A lot of people ask, why did this happen to me? um
hmm.
for me, it was more like, well, why not me?
Hmm.
Why not
Hmm.
me? what
Hmm.
what can I do differently, to, not that you can make this situation any better, but to
Hmm.
kind of give you a little peace of mind as you go through it,
Right.
because
Right.
when
It's
you're
one less thing
constantly
to worry
going
about.
through these surgeries. And for those people that do have insurance, great, and they do have their short-term and long-term disability, great. But those people that don't, and they try to
Mhm,
rush to get better, to get back to work,
mhm,
this is why
mhm,
we're here. This is why we're
mhm,
here, because you don't have to be concerned about that. If we can help
mhm,
you with that, then we'd be more than happy to help you, and
mhm,
just kind of
mhm.
give you that peace of mind in your recovery. Because if you don't have that peace of mind in your recovery is going to be so much harder to go
Mhm,
through it.
mhm. No, I'm sure. I'm sure.
So,
Yeah, and sometimes I think we go through stuff because God wants us to lead others. Because once you've been through something and then somebody else is going through the same situation, you have so much more to offer as far as advice and the empathy that sometimes they don't get from other people.
mhm,
So I think, like when you said, well, why did this happen to me? I used to think that kind of stuff too, like, why is this happening? Or, things that would happen with the family and stuff. And then I'm thinking, now I see other people in that situation. And I'm like, if that hadn't happened to me, then I couldn't be there for them, to be like the
right.
backbone to help it and support. So, or just to empathize and be there, like you said, just to be there to listen to them. It makes a huge difference.
Yes.
So no, I think it's a great opportunity and I'm looking forward to it. I really am.
Yeah.
So
And we
Marty,
still
what,
have
how,
tickets available. So if
oh,
people are
good.
out there, I don't know when this is going to be airing, but if it's before our conference,
Uh-huh.
we do have tickets available. They can go to our website,
Okay.
mightystrongfoundation.com. They can go to Eventbrite. Awesome thing about our website is, there is a messenger on there. You can, send us a message through our messenger app, and it goes directly to our phones. And I mean, how many of
Okay.
us don't always have our phone next to us? We
That's
all
true.
do.
Yeah, that's true.
We all
We don't
do.
leave it
So,
behind. You feel naked if you
yes.
don't have it, you know?
Yeah, you
I
do. And so
know.
if you send us a message, we'll get a notification on our phone. We can respond to you. We can help you. We can guide you to whatever you may need, whether, like I said, getting the tickets to our event, getting assistance for your journey, anything that we can help you with. We're just, one message away, one phone call away.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Marty, for taking the time out to, take part in the podcast, and hopefully we can air it as soon as possible. That way we can get more people to know about it and put the word out. But I appreciate you taking your time. I think it's a great opportunity, and what you're doing is a big thing, and it is. I know that there's so much more to it that we're not seeing, the behind the scenes stuff, like you said. And I was telling Daniel, I said, Marty does so much. I said, but people don't see it because she's like the behind the scenes person. She doesn't like to be in the spotlight, but she's got so much going, and you take care of all the fine details. I told them, even like when we had the sticker shock, the cookies, with the mic, and then the Daniel Gomez Inspires logo. And I thought, all of that took time to do and prepare and get ready. But it makes such a difference for the people, it's like it adds that
Yes.
special touch, so I think that's awesome that you're
And
doing that.
thank you.
And
And it does. It helps you. It takes you back to the event, because
yeah,
you brought it
thank
up, and you
you.
remembered it. and
Yeah.
and when you think about something, it may not be something big for some people, but for that one person, like you said, the cookies that you remember the
Hmm.
details of the cookie, and just
Yeah.
just having that, and then it takes you back to when you attended the event, and then it
Hmm.
takes you back
Hmm.
to what you learned at that event. And so
Exactly,
that's why we
exactly.
try to make it, get that special touch, personal touch,
Hmm. Yeah,
to
and,
bring
and
you
I
back.
y'all
Because a
did
lot of
it.
times you go and you go to these events, and you get so fed with information, and then you think about, like, what did I just learn? And then, yeah, at first you're on fire, you're doing this and you're doing that with what you've learned, and then as you
Hmm.
get busy with life, you just kind of, you know forget, or kind of, keep going with the way you were doing things before. But then when you go
Hmm.
back and you look at that coffee mug, you look at whatever
Uh-huh.
little thing that you got from that event,
Hmm. Hmm.
and then you think back and you're like, oh yeah, when I was there, this and this
Yeah,
and this.
that's true. It sparks the memory, and it's those indelible moments, that really kind of
Correct.
stay with you. They stay with you. Well, Maria, I'm hoping that everything, I mean, I know it will, everything's going to come out great. I just, we want a big turnout for both of the events, and I
Yes.
can't wait to see the results of everything, and for it to, take place. I know there's the anticipation sometimes is so much, but then when you finally get it, underway and everything's over, you just feel like such a relief, right? Once
Yes.
everything's good, you feel like, okay, I've done it, and
Yeah, we
everything's,
did
yeah,
it.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Well, thank you, Marty. And like again, it's the MartyStrongFoundation.com. And like she said, you can do a message and it goes straight to their phone. So
Yes.
don't
Thank you
hesitate
for
to reach
having
out.
me.
Thank you, Marty. I appreciate it.
This was fun.
Thank you. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it very much. Thank you.
Thanks.